Everybody to our live stream here on lichess and Twitch. Believe it or not, I'm an international master. I am William Paschall from the United States / Budapest. I'm located in Budapest, Hungary, streaming live here usually 6 days a week via lichess and Twitch. Tonight is our Thursday subscriber stream. We've been back a few days, a little slow to get started here. I got some lag on my internet too. Bonus lag. Alright, ping is dropping down to 81. So, subscriber stream, we take games from the subscribers here on Twitch, analyze them live on the stream. Astrobate, welcome. As a chess player, one has to be able to control one's feelings. One has to be as cold as a machine. Levan Aronian. Well, I think this is unrealistic, but ideally we'd like to be as cool as a machine. Sometimes passion can be beneficial, though. Passion motivates us. So, I'm not sure, you have to be like Mr. Spock to be a great player. You definitely don't want to be nervous, though. Nerves are not necessarily beneficial. I agree to a degree. Mickey Decat. Hi, William and all. Sometimes people are too lethargic too. If you're excited, you got a lot of adrenaline. It can motivate you. It's not that simple. Some players are great because their drive is very high. So, cool as a machine. I'm not sure that always works for humans, but you definitely don't want to be stressed out and nervous. You want to be able to relax, play your game, be able to concentrate. That's the key. I think that's what Ironian is saying. But anyway, thanks for the quote, Astrobate. PremK666. Welcome everybody to the stream. He says, this is Mickey says, it takes me a long time to forget some painful defeat where I was attacking the whole game. I find forgetting painful defeats also to be difficult. I don't like it when the last game I lost or played is a painful defeat. In that case, it's good to log into your favorite chess site and beat somebody in a 5-minute game. Sometimes it makes up for that 8-hour loss. So, hello Slaji, thank you for noticing my improvement. Thank you for noticing my improvement from Goiju on lichess. Thank you, Scarlat, for being a subscriber. Goiju/Scarlat. Yo, Astrobate. What happened? How did Prem just become a subscriber? Wait, were you already a subscriber? Weird. That was funny. When you logged on, I didn't notice your subscriber badge, Prem. Subscriber badge. Subscriber badge. Am I hallucinating? Now you have a subscriber badge. I guess I just didn't see it. Alright. So we're going to start with the first game. Yabatis versus Isnikter 16. Yeah, it might be the internet lag. I had really bad lag when I logged on. And my Twitch is always laggy. At least not in creating the stream, but in seeing my own stream. My replay of my Twitch it always seems really slow. Alright. So I'm going to get a drink. Thirsty. Guys, please support the stream and subscribe. It's been a slow week here, financially. So I really appreciate any donations or subscriptions. Sean Pinto, welcome. Thanks for being a subscriber as well. If you want to submit a game, we still have some room. We've got Yabatis, Jim, Goblin Pawn Shop. I haven't seen him since we came back. Astrobate, Zell Poker, and then Princess Chess, I think is... Somebody called it... I don't know who it was, but somebody called it Chapter 7. Chapter 6 is the new Chapter 7. Chapter 6 is Princess Chess 6-4 versus somebody. So that's Chapter 6. We have room for 4 more games. if that many subscribers would like to contribute a game. Mickey says his mind there. Didn't I just say that? I guess not. No, it's not in there. Mickey, send it to me, because Yabatis is not here. There may have been some foul ups since it's been so long since I did. Last week I was away on vacation, so things get fouled up quite a bit. So Mickey, please send me a message with the game on lichess. I'm going to start with Yabatis' game. Although he's not here, we'll get it done. So Yabatis is black. He has his live over the board chess club tonight. Unfortunately, it's the same night as our analysis stream. Beer is good for the soul. So d4 e6. Obviously, you're allowing the French. If you use this move order, you're gonna have to have something against e4. I know that Yabatis is playing like. I have a game. Where do I submit it? Send it to me, because there's no one else responding at the moment. All right, this is Mickey's game. This better work. That analysis better not mess it up. Copy, pools, analysis board. Paste. Please let this work. It doesn't. Mickey, can you find another link which doesn't have all the analysis? Can you get me a game score without the analysis? Because I can't copy and paste that. You have to try again. Oh no. Sean sent me a chess.com link. Ugh. You guys are difficult, man. You guys gotta send these in. You gotta send these in. Mother. What am I gonna do with you guys? I don't even want to know. Analysis. I guess I can try to copy and paste this. We might be able to copy and paste it. You know I'm not a fan of chess.com. I'm gonna kill myself with this, man. No, you gotta come up with a better. You're gonna have to try that again, GM Sean. What is that? You guys both did it. You both sent me analysis links. It is not going to go in the study with all those analysis. Here's Goju. So both those guys have to resubmit some kind of presentable PGN that I can copy. I can't work with that. Mickey and Sean, you can't send me game with analysis in the PGN. It's got to be just the moves. So like Goju's here, it's just the moves. I can work with that. Create study here. Yeah, we can work with this. The Goju game went through. I got to get a link from those other guys, Sean and Mickey. You're gonna have to somehow send me a PGN that's clean. It won't let me submit those games into the stream. I'm into the study. Excel Poker, thanks for subscribing for 7 months. That was weird. I thought Excel Poker already subscribed. Princess Chess 64 is here. Game number 6. I just put in Princess Chess versus X. Thanks for subscribing. Can I send it here / you bro? Just send it, but promise you don't send it with analysis. Not any computer analysis. I can't put those games in. GM Sean's trying again. Yeah, this is better. That's it. Just give me some moves. Much better. All right, copy, tools, analysis board. Black wins. Paste. We can do this. Import. Study. Analysis stream. That's in there. Okay, so game... Oh, it's calling it Chapter 10. What's that about? It's weird. So X versus Sean. I mean, I'm going to do up to 10 games. That's fine. I got that one. So we're missing Mickey's game. Are we good now? Just without analysis. Yeah, that's fine. As long as I got a PGN, I can copy and paste carefully without the time. Copy, and we're good. So were you white or black? Let's see. You don't play the Scandinavian, do you? You must have been white. Right. Why is it being a biatch? This. Why is it doing that? Why is it not letting me copy and paste that? Because of the half-half? Alright, let's try it without. Tools, analysis board, paste. Now it's going to work. Alright, there we go. We're good now. Yes. Tranquilizer Simul. Chapter 11. Alright, that's 9 games. So there's one more slot open for a subscriber. Is that Prem? What am I going to do with you, man? Can I copy and paste the link? Copy. Paste. Last game. This is Prem. Black. Alright, last game. That's 10. Study. Mr. Coffee's in the house. Alright. Who's going to be number 2? Cheer to take number 2. Mr. Coffee already reserved first place. So we'll see who takes Cheer 2. Cheer 2, Cheer 3, gift sub prizes are still open. Oh no. It's in there. Alright, we're all set. 10 games. Very good. So we're going to start with Ubatis. We've got Ubatis, Jim, Goblin Pawn Shop, Asterbait, Zell Poker, Princess, Goiju, Sean, Miki, and Play Like Kasparov. Scarlet, thank you. Usurping Mr. Coffee. So we got 2 donations this week. Back to... Alright, back to the stream. I've got 10 games. Thank you, Scarlet, for donating. Learn, study. We're ready to get started, finally. Studies I contribute to. I feel like I've got some serious lag, but it's ping of 43. That's not lag. Mr. Coffee's pissed. Took his place. Just kidding. Alright, that's game 10. This is game 1. Alright, Ubatis is black. Now it's raining. E4, E6. I think he's trying to play the St. George. St. George deferred. I've been playing the Jinji Hashvili defense this week with A6 as a kind of experimental fun opening. I did a little bit of analysis of that when I was trying to play the Blumenfeld a lot, but just something like, you know, maybe Ubatis could think about if you play an early A6. Anyways, White played c4. A6 is an interesting move here as well. Like e4, d5. This is Christian Bauer again. So this a6 move, strangely, not as bad as it looks. He's got a good score here. I mean, he's a very strong player, but still, to have like 3 out of 4 with this crap on the top games there, that's pretty insane. So, anyways, we're into a Queen's Gambit declined. D5, Knight C3, Knight F6, CD5. You can play Knight takes D5 if you want to be really boring. ED5, Bishop G5, Bishop E7, Queen C2. This is a new repertoire for Yabatis. I personally, I'm surprised by him playing like this classical stuff, because normally he's really hyper modern and plays offbeat stuff. It seems strange for Yabatis to be playing like solid classical Queen's Gambit declined. But anyway, we're broadening our horizons. Now knight on BD7. Castles is okay. C6 is okay. If I want to be boring, I play the Nimzo. But I mean, the Nimzo is not as boring as the Queen's Gambit decline, because you have so much more flexibility with your pawn structure. At least that's my perspective. I mean, having options isn't boring. When you play the Queen's Gambit, that's it. Like, your pawn structure is fixed. You have to play that structure with D5. But Grunfeld... Oh, yeah. Well, the Grunfeld, very hyper-modern. Very dynamic. I think the Grunfeld and the Sveshnikov have a lot in common, though. The theory becomes so extensive that it's like drawish at the highest levels. Anyways, E3. I like castles. Delaying C6. But I guess C6 is fine. Bishop D3. And now, again, castles is the main move. But Yabatis plays Knight F8. I don't really know too much about this. Another player who's interesting who played the Queen's Gambit declined that you wouldn't think that fits is Nesmedinov. For an attacking player with a crazy sacrificial reputation to play the black side of the Queen's Gambit decline. Yeah, I mean, I would call this Steinitzian, right? I mean, that's one of the oldest maneuvers in chess. Usually you're playing knight f1 in the Roy Lopez. Very classic. Now knight e2, white has the option to castle queenside, which is considered, one of the more aggressive ways to play. White has castle queenside. White has minority attack with b4, b5. He has f3 with a central advance. And he has like safer plans like castles kingside. For example, knight f3 is a lot less it's a lot less flexible. White has less plans with that move. There's no f3 e4. So this is like a main line, I guess. And then black played h6. And I mean, I don't know, man. What's the point of h6? Like, we can't castle. And you're threatening to play bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, bishop takes h7. So why? I've told the story a lot about one of my teammates who lost like 4 games for our team like 3 years ago because he kept playing this crap with like h6, which is passive in the Queen's Gambit exchange variation. G6 looks interesting because you can play knight g7 and then either like bishop f5 or knight f5. I think this is better, objectively. I had a training game like this against Antoni, one of our viewers and player who's done some lessons with me. With white, I think we once had like very, very similar, if not the exact same position. I think it was like f3, castles, Knight g7. I mean, castles, knight g7, maybe. Something like this. And he ended up going wrong. I was white. But I don't like h6. It was played by some people, but no one I'm in love with. This definitely seems better. So this also makes sense. Knight h5 to try to trade pieces. I would prefer that to h7, h6. So what's the idea here? Like take, bishop takes h7 and g6? Presumably g6. If you guys have any ideas, I mean, I don't want to just like lecture. Feel free to interact and ask questions. Bishop takes g6, pawn g6, queen g6 check, queen f7. Queen f7, king f7. I mean, your guess is as good as mine about who stands better here. 3 pawns for a piece. Let's see what the oracle says. Very close. This is winning, right, for black? No. No, I mean, it's what I thought it would be. It's just unclear. It's 3 connected past pawns. It's not a joke. No, not winning. Not at all easy to play, you know. I think that's crazy. Obviously, impossible to say, you know, what would happen in a game if you went into that. But I think, like, you know, this is interesting too. This the Brazilian Grandmaster Sunya played. I mean, you know, if you can open the H file, right, then giving up this bishop is see what he does? He puts his pawns like that to nullify that bishop on d3. This is an interesting game as well. The H file seems justification for giving up the bishop. Anyways, Yabatas played h6. And again, White has all these different plans. b4, b5, castle kingside, f3. So take your pick. This diagonal now. So castles. Here. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be kind of a tame game now. White has f3, e4, though. White's going to have to play like rook d1 in order to overprotect that d4 pawn if he wants to play f3 and e4. So you see here, rook b1, that's like classic minority attack. Sahis in 1985 against Sergei Smagin. Rook d1 is Hracek, eliminating a 2100. Hracek played the King's Indian attack against me years ago. One of the longest games I ever played. It was like 113 moves. Rook d1 to support d4. Here. Now this wow. That's crazy, Holmes. I guess this is just a blunder. Yeah, I mean, c5 isn't right. You do c5 if white castles queenside. You can't do c5 here. I mean, he just put his rook on d1 opposite your d-pawn. He's basically trying to set up f3 and e4 gradually. Maybe like king h1, f3, e4. Good day, Lauren. Yeah, I agree. Excel Poker. Black has to try something else. I don't like h6. But here we are, you know, so the obvious suggestion is knight h5, Nigel Short style. Knight h5, bishop e7, queen e7, and white is slightly better. Or you can play bishop g3, knight g3, and then either hg3 or knight g3. Though I don't know, you know, actually I don't really see what white's plan is here. Without b4. He doesn't really have a forward plan. You gotta play knight h5. This is game review. Yeah. So what's the analysis? Knight h5, bishop e7, queen e7, f3. White does it anyway. Goes for it anyway, despite the weakness of those squares. White's only plan is to go for e4. Now there's no b4, so his only break is e4. But I think this is hands down the way black should play. Knight h5. This is wrong. I mean, I think we're in trouble tactically immediately, right? There's going to be knight takes d5. So dc5, knight c5, and now you have bishop f6. Bishop f6, knight takes d5. This is what happened. Bang, bang, bang. Alternatively, white has bishop h7 check, king h8, and take now. I don't really think white necessarily wants a rook on d5, where it's awkwardly placed. Like, for example, queen e7, and this is just going to get attacked by one of black's pieces. So this makes more sense. Take, take, take. And now the knight's hanging. Looks good. You can't take, you lose your queen. He's got this, this. I mean, alternatively, you can take with a rook on d5, I guess. d3, I mean. Or maybe not. Scratch that. Lauren says, I haven't lost any recent serious long games. 5 wins, 1 draw. Yeah, we've got a full plate of games today anyway. 10 games on tap. This is the first one. But thanks for watching. We don't need any more. I usually get to maximum 10. Alright, so queen d3. But queen d3 drops the b pawn. So it's looking forced. He had to do this. Sorry. He had to do this, 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 and now this. That sucks. So the whole thing doesn't work. Unbelievable. Wow. So c5, d takes c5. So I guess we're going to have to take a step back again and re-examine bishop takes f6, bishop f6, bishop h7 check. So maybe this is the way you have to do it. It's definitely awkward though. With the idea of rook takes d5, as I said, queen e7, and then maybe something along the lines of bishop f5. Pawn is a pawn. White's up a pawn. I don't like your chances against, top-notch opposition here down a pawn, with lots of pawns left on the board. So this was the major mistake. White didn't calculate far enough that he needs bishop h7 check, king here, take with a rook. Again, like you could choose a different square, maybe b6 or a5. Well, a5 is crazy, but let's say this, maybe. But it doesn't matter. Like in all lines, we're going to have bishop f5, trading off the bishop pair, and white's up a pawn. White is better. Let's see. +2. That's kind of harsh. Wow, it's +2. The computer doesn't like this. This is the problem. Not far enough calculated. So now he drops a pawn over here. And what do we got? An endgame where black has a bishop versus knight and an outside pass pawn. This looks bad. We got a serious problem. Black with 2 pawns on the queen side and a bishop. And a queen on a 7th. Maybe this is a draw objectively, like rook d2. But I don't envy anybody like having to play white here. The one good thing for white is that he can outpost a knight on d4. Knight on d4 means that we're gonna have to switch the play to the c file. Yeah, I mean black's super happy with this result. Rook d2, queen f6, and then knight d4, as I said. But only black can win here. I mean, with the outside pawn and the bishop. And I assume that's what's going to happen now. Although rook d8, I don't know. It's tough. Black is better, it's a struggle, and it's a long endgame. I'm not sure I like rook d8. We're not going to be able to do anything with that knight on d4. I don't even see the point in bothering. Like, why not like bishop d7? Just play bishop d7, and it's active in both directions. This seems better. I don't see the point of rook d8. And also don't like rook d1. White should go to the c file, clearly. Now the knight is on d4. So rook c1, shift over, and try to penetrate with like rook c7. The d file is now about the knight, leaving the knight on d4. This is a nice provoking move, but I'm not sure I want to do that, Yeah, I agree, Lauren. Position changed dramatically, rather quickly. I mean, clearly white has chances if he goes to the c file. Both players playing this inaccurately now. This is like forcing white to fix his position. Bishop g4 literally forces white to make a good move. Rook c1. Hey, get to the right file. So again, I think it's harder for black to play, but now maybe, I don't know. There is this issue here. Do we want to pin ourselves? I don't really know what to do. I don't think rook d8 was a good idea, though, and I don't like bishop g4. But f3 weakens his structure. So that's going to create like counterplay. Now black will either undermine the knight on d4 or get some counterplay against the pawn on e3. This is unnecessary. Would bishop g4? Yeah, to provoke. Does that work? Are you serious? Bishop f5? Queen f5? Rook takes d4? Tactical. No. This is not going to work, unfortunately. Queen f3. But it was close. It might work in the right circumstance. Yeah, I don't like bishop h5 either. But admit it's not easy to decide. I mean, you can always play this. Black has no losing chances. I don't know where to go. Rook takes d4, queen. What the heck? Do we have rook takes d4 now? For real? Oh my gosh. This works? Rook takes d4, queen f6. Rook takes d2? Are you serious? No. Alright. I did not see a1. Here. I'm not sure that white wants to make this exchange, though, objectively. Still, I mean, you have open file. King can approach the center. 97 check. This is nothing now. It's a draw. Of course, we're thinking king f8, but now get your king out there, man, as fast as possible. King f2, king f6. Now, instead of king e2, clearly white should play e4 and try to get the king, to e3. I mean, the outside pawn, though, is a massive, massive advantage for black. We can just, all the pawns get traded on the queen side, and black's still not going to lose. But the active rook gives white enough compensation. It should be a draw. This is a mistake. This is not a mistake. And maybe a5? It's a draw. You know, this is definitely a draw. I mean, a5, a4, b5. Let's shake hands and go home. I mean, a6 is possible, but I don't think it does anything. Finally, e4. And now a5. Yeah. And so white should play a4. And it's a draw. It's got to be a draw. Arsenal, welcome. It's got to be a draw. After a4, it's just a draw. I mean, of course, either side can lose. But this doesn't look right here. I mean, white has to be careful. Now he can lose. That's the problem. I mean, probably he still shouldn't lose, but why give black any chances at all? See, he's really only giving himself losing chances here. And now b4. And this is objectively a draw anyway. You get behind the pawn. Rook a5. Check. King d4. And it's a draw. This is a draw. Check. King d3. And I guess white went too far. Check. King d3. And we just check or whatever. Like rook. I mean, white doesn't need to move his pawns, but he's trying to win. g4. f5 check. Not sure that's necessarily a great move. Now h4. Maybe h4. I don't know. It seems like white is reckless. And this is still a draw. In fact, I mean, maybe we should take with the pawn. I would think you would take with the pawn here, no? There's no reason to pull the king back. Check, take, and this is... I don't know if this is a meme. I didn't realize he wins like a drawn ending. It's obviously a draw at this point. This is just draw. He drops a rook or what? White is like, what? You know, this is just a draw. Plays g5. I don't even see how he could get mated. It's pretty hard to lose this. But white was dead set on losing it, I guess. Wow, the g5 pawn is falling now. Yeah, wonderful endgame technique. That's a nice trick. And this is still a draw. But it's not going to be a draw in every position. And we have bishop and rook pawn, which may be a draw. I mean, this pawn is very far advanced here, so it's too much. Yeah, white really wanted to lose. That's obviously a big mistake. I mean, you got to go to f2 here. I mean, this at least gives us a fighting chance. There are positions with bishop and rook pawn that are draws. Now it's over. Yeah, it's over. Alright, man. Weird endgame, but I mean, it should have been a draw all the way. That was a strange choice by Yabatis. Very dry game. Jim. Is Jim in the house? Guys, welcome to the stream. Please subscribe. Support the stream if you can. Don't forget to tune in Sunday, my flagship event, Sunday Simul. Tomorrow morning we'll be back with Blitz Chess, Open Challenges. So Yabatis with a uncharacteristic dry game out of the exchange Queen's Gambit. Yeah, not a fan. I tried to play the black side of the Queen's Gambit and gave it up pretty quickly. I remember drawing a game like that with black against a player I didn't really think was of my caliber. But it's just hard to win with black. You know? Hard to win with black in the Caro-Kann or the exchange Queen's Gambit. Alright, so this is Jim. He's been around the stream a little bit lately. I think, was he here on Sunday? One of our oldest friends here from streaming. So Jim is playing white against Arbor 8-8. I play black style of Queen's Gambit Decline if I get those hanging pawn style Queen's Indian defense lines. Yeah, I mean, what Yabatis did was, like Excel Poker said, you don't play c5 in a exchange Queen's Gambit unless white has castled queenside and his king is on c1 or b1. You know, you want to open the c file for counterplay. Black didn't have an active enough position to justify changing the structure with c5. So Jim, wherever you are, welcome. Jim playing d4. I want to show you guys something I thought of. Pawn d4, queen d4. This is not the game, but this popped in my mind yesterday. On my Wednesday streams where I play unusual openings, I've had a few of this Chinese, what I call the Chinese, what's it called? Center attack. And it occurred to me I have a novelty here for black. This was last night or the night before. It just jumped in my mind. If queen c4, black has the Aldisto style defense, like playing in the same borrowed from the Scando. I think this is interesting. I was looking at this yesterday. Not that this variation ever happens. I mean, queen c4 is very, very risky. Yeah, what was that, Miki? But I like this idea. This is a new move. b5, queen takes, and then either rook b8 or maybe knight f6 followed by rook b8. Just something that popped in my mind the other day. Anyway, so Jim doesn't play that. He plays knight f3. You know, the classic. All right, so I'm thinking what about d5 here? Why is that not a move? Just thinking about like new ideas in chess. d5, what's up with that? It's like a bad elephant gambit or something? What's wrong with d5? So apparently this, interesting. Let's see what the Oracle says. The Oracle says it's not a big deal. It was played by Alterman, he lost. Computer only gives white a small edge. Knight f6. Interesting. It's a Farago Ivan Semitarash piece configuration. Knight c3, knight c6, bishop e5, bishop d7, bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6. Interesting. Only one game where this actually happened. Polish GM Bobras. I mean, I don't know. I'm always looking for new ideas, and this had never occurred to me. It looks like it's not that bad. I wonder how Satoshi beat Alterman. Oh, so Alterman didn't play bishop d7. He must have bailed and taken here. He went into a worse ending. That's how he lost. So anyway, some interesting stuff to think of. So Jim plays Scotch. Now this has been trending for a long time. Magnus. Maybe its time is over though. The secrets have been all discovered in this variation. Jim plays main line, bishop e3. And then this. This is offensive. This is disrespecting the principles of chess. Lembit-Ol versus Sagachik, 1997. Must have been the New York Open. I'm not even familiar with this. Wow. Surprised Sagachik could hold a draw against Ol with such a crappy variation. The Lembit-Ol, I was like one of the last people to ever play him before he committed suicide. I might have been one of the last few. I forget what year it was. 99? Probably like 99. He was like the most intimidating player I ever played. He had this really weird aura. Like, I was just totally like unable to concentrate. He's on another level. But bishop takes d4. Yeah, cooking rooks. The question is, did he jump or was he pushed? He went back to Estonia and like committed suicide by jumping off of a building. But I don't know, you know. I don't know the story. Elvest, a few people know. But man, he was weird. He was really weird. He had this really weird look in his eyes. But bishop takes d4, knight d4, queen d4, and then queen f6. Tragic. It says he lost. Oh, you actually found some info on it. I didn't know the story. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, then a suicide is more likely. Unless it's a jealous lover. Anything's possible. But whatever, nevertheless, he had this very strange aura about him that I couldn't play against the guy. Walter Brown was like nervous, but this was different. He was just like intimidating. Anyway, I don't like this for black. I mean, this doesn't look right. e5, queen b6. So Jim didn't play queen b6. Jim's white. His opponent didn't play queen b6. That's supposed to be the point. I mean, still, maybe there's another way to play. Like, what is it? Yeah, there's no other move. c3 is just lame. c3 is lame. Kind of an annoying line. I mean, white has to be better, but what do we do on queen b6? You gotta go here. That's what Lembit did. 97. Zagalchik took with the pawn. Anyways, queen b6 is right. Anyway, queen g6. Good to see you cooking rooks. Have you cooked any rooks lately? Been a while. Queen g6, okay, makes some sense. You're on g3, you're on c2, you're guarding the g7. So I guess we sack the c2 pawn. Doesn't take much to talk Jim into it. But I would wonder about knight d2 to keep the b pawn protected by the queen. So the idea would be, you know, obviously queen c2, bishop d3. What's wrong with bishop d3? The g2 pawn's hanging. Everything's a pawn sack. I mean, obviously you have bishop e4, I know. So there's just a matter of deciding, like, how do you decide which pawn to sacrifice, if any? It's not easy. What's up, Schieberspieler? So my knowledge of the Scotch here, this weird endgame variation, I don't know. Queen g6, knight c3, okay. So you think just this? Is that what you're talking about, Arsenal? Like here? Sacking 2 pawns? Maybe that's good. Maybe this is Jim's idea. Jim is not afraid to sacrifice a few pawns. This looks actually really bad. Yeah, black's probably lost here. You can't take that pawn on c2. So knight c3, and this pretty much refutes queen g6 then. Because if we're going to castle queenside, we have a massive development lead. There are threats of this and this, and you can't take this pawn. Why not knight a3? Yeah, knight a3 is not bad. Why ask why? There's c5. I was just thinking about this, this, and this. But it's still terrible. There's our b5 move again, rearing its ugly head. Queen f7 check with a better endgame. No, here, yeah, I don't know. This is a little weird. White's better, obviously. This isn't good for black. Yeah, I agree, Schieberspieler. Knight takes b5 looks pretty good. So basically, Jim encounters a new move and then finds a refutation. I mean, like you're suggesting, knight a3 could have been a move, but that's not the optimal square for that knight, right? There's got to be some drawbacks putting the knight on a3. So this is much more convenient because you have this in the event of c6. I mean, we have knight e4, and black is like lost, probably. You don't have that with knight a3, although you would have knight c4, which is pretty good too. True. If here, here, here. But anyway, I don't think that's the main move. Knight c3 is good. Let's see if that's the number 1 move. Yep, hands down, plus 2.3. Good find by Jim. Natural move. Knight e7. And I mean, clearly this is an issue. Black could play king d8. Do you want to try this? Maybe black sacks a pawn like this. No. I mean, even this variation doesn't look that great for black. So knight b5 looks really interesting. This is probably like a bullet game. 5 minutes. All right. Knight b5 is interesting. FIDE Master Schieberspieler, how did your simul go the other day? He just castles, but black gets away. Now, is it enough? You're going to play h4 for a kingside attack. There it is. So Jim's going for like a holistic approach here, not like specifically trying to attack c7. I would think queen f4. I mean, maybe black has rook e8. That's why I don't like the queen here. I mean, this is going to come with tempo. I'm starting to think that black is okay now. He's got this diagonal. He's destroying the center. Maybe not okay, but almost okay. He's got h6 for the queen. 35 peoples. It looks like black is in the game. I don't really like what happened here. It feels like Jim let it get out of control. There is bishop d3, but then queen h5. It feels like black's alright. He's got his queen there. He's got the bishop out. The pawn on e5 is weak. We messed this up. Yeah, we messed it up. I mean, I think it starts here. Maybe h4 is okay. But I think you got to go to f4. I think white's still better now. Yeah, this is a huge moment. f4. Queen e3 not as good. Okay, but what if we just take now? Yeah, I mean, he's too fancy. You've got h5. White was too hesitant. Or just take, and white is structurally slightly better. So this is a mistake. f4 is a mistake, loosening. And now black gets developed. Bishop d3, queen h5. And then black is okay. He must have had a cute trick or something. Rook takes e5. White just lost a pawn. The next move is highly strange. I mean, g6. David Grigo passed away early this year. I remember him explaining to beginners how, like, you know, when you play g6, you weaken two squares. Why weaken two squares when you can weaken one? I mean, if you have to make Luft, it's preferable to play h6. I mean, I understand the bishop is here, but in general, g6 looks very weakening. I don't really love that move, especially with this knight coming to e4. You don't want to create that hole there. The guy basically played a perfect game to some degree and then plays this move. That's bad. The f6. So now on knight e4 you have to play f5. You have f5. What is that? I love this variation. Like here, check. Still not clear. There's a forced win. However, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Where's the win? Can anybody find a win here? You can't trap the queen because the rook's going to trade itself off and the queen will have lateral moves. Where the heck is the win for white? Queen f6 and queen c6. The structure, yeah. That's the first thing, one of the first things I thought of too. I figured it wasn't enough material. It's like, this is not a lichess puzzle solution. White is better. But I was hoping for something more convincing. I mean, the other option is obviously f5, but it radically weakens black's position. Yeah, I mean, there the queen's just trapped. No, it's still not trapped. You have h6. So even this move is possible. It doesn't look like black is lost. But he is. Wow. He's lost. The oracle says he's lost. f5? But nothing obvious. Knight g5. Weird. f5 looks risky, but what about this? Knight f6. Rook e1 check. Rook e1. And you're just going to lose a bishop. That's easy. Okay. Probably somebody put it in the chat. We just win a piece. Yeah. Come on, guys. You're supposed to pick it up when I miss obvious tactics. I should have seen that. Thanks to Mr. Coffee for donating 200 bits. I mean 100 bits this week. Zell Poker just donated $5. Free money. Thank you, man. Very generous. Scarlat with 200 bits. Appreciate it, guys. Free money. Hard-earned poker money. Alright, no, that was an interesting game. Let's see what happened at the end. So finally, the actual end of the game was g6, knight e4, king h8, knight f6. He's winning the piece. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, Jim isn't playing much, so I guess he just you know, submitted a game he played. He's kind of depressed lately, and he hasn't been on the stream. He's not playing a lot. He plays mostly Bullet. I hope he can get it together and get back to being a regular here on the stream, playing some serious chess. Cooking Rook's poker money, 500 bits. I meant Zell's poker money. Not poker money for me, but he's donating his poker money to the stream. Cooking Rooks with a tier 1 sub to World Loser. World Loser, of course, is an alt. I don't know if he's still a mod, actually. Maybe World Loser gave up his mod privileges. I can't remember, but he's busy as well. Thanks for the gift sub. Alright, let's go on to game 3. This is Goblin Pawn Shop, who has not been on the stream since I came back. Unfortunately, I have not been playing poker lately. You're from Texas, man. Amarillo Slim. Come on. Alright. D4, knight f6. C4, C5, D5. This is Goblin Pawn Shop. B5 from black with a Benko. I don't understand why Benko is not popular, really. You would think it would be popular. It was popular in the 90s and then sort of faded. I guess just not enough, you know, top players. You play it when I need a break from chess. You're worse than poker at chess, which is saying something. You know, it's funny. You hate to play against the Benko. It feels like I'm losing against it. I don't have a good system either. I mean, I've been copped out with this for a long time, playing this B6. As far as I know, I mean, a lot of good players consider F3. I'm sorry. You know, B5 takes F3. This is considered to be a good line. And the other one is E3. There is a Hungarian Grandmaster Lukács used to play this. I think he did a lot of new in chess articles with Laszlo Hazai. It seems like these two variations with E3 and F3 are maybe two of the best, but you have to really study it deeply. They're kind of subtle lines. Not easy to play, requires a lot of knowledge. I never had the time to really study it. The one time I accepted the Benko, I lost to a GM, I remember. Some Latvian guy. Lazarov. Pawn grabbing should be good for white objectively. Well, that looks like it's doing well statistically, but it's not fun to play Schieberspieler. Okay, so a different declined line with knight f3. Now black has options to transpose to the Blumenfeld with e6, which I did a video series on for the chess world. No commission do I get on those, so don't run out and buy it just because I made one. All right, knight f3, d6. That is not really a typical move. I have never seen anyone do that before. That doesn't look right. Is that like a bad move order or something? He's just simply playing d6. Funny, I've never seen anyone do that. The Nescafé Frappe attack, yeah, I played that a lot, but it lost its fun when, you know, the 90s were over. Graham Burgess wrote a really fat monograph, and we used to play the Frappe attack. But it's not sound. The problem with the Frappe attack is like b5 takes, a6, knight c3, takes, e4, b4, knight b5, d6, e5. Doesn't work. So you have to play bishop c4. And then black just plays knight on bd7. And this killed it. This is fun if black plays g6, e5. And that was the point of the Nescafé Frappe attack. But it's the problem is knight on bd7. And it just stopped everything. So you can't play bishop c4. If you want to play, I guess you have to do one of these other lines. They have like g5 here. Or knight f3 is possible, but it's lame. So that's crappy. I just play b6. Alright. Acer plays the Banco. Anyway, knight f3, d6. Well, how does white take advantage of this? So if you take, it transposes. Is there a bad move order or something? What's the deal? Takes, a6. Interesting. So you could get a kind of Lukács variation now with e3. So the cognoscentes might know this. You have like an improved Lukács. e3 here. I mean, it's still not that easy, but I guess that's the expert move. But this is interesting what he did. He did queen c2. The idea is to support e4 with the pawn, with the queen. If takes on c4, you just play e4. I mean, that's a variation too, right? This is an actual variation. Check it out. Queen c2. Look at the score here. Can you believe that? That variation is so dominant. 43% wins to 23% for black. We're basically transposing to this setup. I mean, it's such an inoffensive move. Putting the queen on this diagonal on move 4, is that really a refutation of the Banco? It's hard to believe, man. It's really hard to believe. It's hard to believe that queen c2 is that big a deal. That white has a very good score with it. After this move, you know, okay, here maybe it's a little better. Now white has a bit more development. g6, e4, bishop g7, he takes, a6, knight c3. So it's like a better kind of mainline Banco. We're not getting like pawn, bishop takes f1, you know. We're not getting inconvenienced. Ivan Sokolov, that's a good sign. Castles, a4, ab5, bishop e5. White's down development, but he has a pawn. And, alright, so that's an idea. The other thing is because the queen isn't on d1, you know, bishop g4 is not a pin. So if bishop g4, you just do like knight d2 or something. That does nothing. So the question is, should black play knight a6 or should black just do like a normal type of thing with knight d7, bishop a6? There's also this, knight e8, knight c7. So that's a new move. He's supposed to play knight a6. But I mean, look at the list of players here. No household names, right? The best player on the list is like Ermenkov. No one plays the Benko. Let's get back to the game. Alright, I guess I'm focusing too much on opening theory here. Let's just check out games. Bishop takes b5, bishop d7, kind of a weird move. Castles. Knight a6 is the right idea. And then h3, not a bad move, stopping knight g4. Knight b4, and the queen swings over here, which is nice. Queen e2. Benko thematic. Yeah, that'd be a great... we've got to come up with our next thematic tournament. Maybe a Benko thematic for 2 weeks from now or something. Mr. Coffee, are you here? This is a major, major move. Judging whether e6 works in the Benko. Kind of looks okay. But is White going to take and maybe have pressure here? He did not. I would expect White would take. The other thing is, of course, like this. I mean, it's game over for Black's pawn structure. Your first game as an FM was on Benko thematic. What do you mean? Was it thematic? You mean an over-the-board game? What are you talking about? Yeah, Trank plays the bank sometimes. Bank, Trank. Otherwise, Black has played bishop takes, right? This pawn is sort of dubious. It feels like White is better, clearly. This bishop on b5 is a monster, too. It's nailing down rook e8. Ugh, I don't like the look of that. So it looks like White should just take. Dude, he's in trouble. +3 after pawn takes e6. That's not good. I mean, why not bishop takes b5? I don't get it. This transposes to a Bospoon game. Yeah, I mean, clearly you can't play e6. Hans Reeve versus Bospoon, Netherlands, 1996, I assume. Probably like the Dutch team championship or something. Bishop takes b5. Benko only good gambit. Man. This looks okay, though. It's not that bad. But this is an atrocity. So, I mean, clearly this is strong. But bishop g5 allows Black to take. That's a whole different ballgame now. I mean, you're letting Black, like, you know, isolate your pawn on d5. I don't like that. Now Black's all right. After this, everything's okay. You know, this is a huge target on d5. It's all about pawn structure. Yeah, that was a disaster for Goblin Pawn Shop. His pawns are in the pawn shop now. This pawn on d5 looks very dubious. So it's like this pawn, and this pawn. Ugh, I didn't do that. I hate you, Chrome. I just closed the window. God damn Chrome. Learn, study. Sorry, everybody. Chrome. See, that's why I'm a poor bullet player. I just like clicked on the wrong button. Here we are. So the pawns, a4, b2, d5, right? They're all targets. Now you've got bishop e7. But nothing's going to stop it. So white lucked out. Talk about a bad square to put your queen on, right? He wanted to get out of the pin, but he walked into knight b5. I mean, you know, this might even be better, frankly. Like queen d7, knight d7, bishop e7, rook e8, bishop takes d6. I mean, even this isn't that clear. Black's pieces are very active. Maybe he's all right, you know. I don't like this outside pawn, but for example, queen c7 is a bad square. I can't tell enough bad things about that in the King's Indian, putting the queen on c7. And he just misses. You know, I like black's structure now. There's a one threat of knight b5. So go here now. What's the problem? Let's do it. Black has a great bishop. The pawn on d5 is weak. The a pawn's not going anywhere. +2, plus 1.5. Wow. Plus 1.5. Computer loves this pawn. But I still think it's not so easy. It's easy for a computer to win a pawn up. This looks good, though. And then we have a problem. What about a4? That pawn is illegal or something? It's pornographic. I don't know, man. Rook takes a4. Where's the money? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that position's so easy. If we talk about that. Stockfish can say it's plus 1.5. But in a practical game, I mean, you know, Stockfish is also going to say that, like, in main lines of the Benko, probably. I mean, obviously, okay, white is up a pawn. The central pawn is important, but black has to be very, you know, active, and white has to be very careful. Not that easy to get that pawn in, and in the meantime, black has to be careful, but white has to be careful about his pawn on d5. I don't know. But this, that's a major blow. We lose a b2 pawn, and then the a pawn falls. So suddenly black's alright. Is bishop c7 anything? Knight c7 anything? No. Here. I mean, rook b1 at least is a tempo, right? Why don't we play rook b1? I don't know about rook e8. He thought that's defending. But let's see. Why can't you take this pawn? Plus 4.8. Check. Here. Where's the win? Rook e7. Slow motion. So threatening this. And the knight on d7. That answers that question. Not that obvious, though. So rook e1's a good move. Here, here. He does that. Rook e7 anyway. And now we're threatening this, we're threatening that, and we're threatening that. So it's all the pieces coordinated. Also queen h4. You know, one thing you want to take away from this game before we move on to the next game? I mean, why is White's advantage so big? I think it's like the center. Like, look at White's control of the center. White's control of the center is just devastating. He literally dominates the center. That's just like decisive. Black has no mobility. The queen's trapped on a5. So I don't think this is even the best move, right? I mean, this is like brutal. Queen f4. Maybe it's not winning. Queen f4. Rook f8. How is this not a win? Man. Black's threatening knight takes d5. Rook a7. I know, but he has knight takes d5. Okay, you win a piece. Yeah, it's true. You just win a piece. It wins a piece. Black has knight a6. That's not going to help. Yeah, it's over. So nice game by Goblin Pawnshop. That's what I would have played too. Threatening queen f7 mate. Now we need a move. Knight e4 check and g4. Man, he got kind of fancy here. Knight h4 check and g3 mate. So Goblin Pawnshop, okay, he's pretty strong. 2165. Nice game. So we're only through 3 games, and it's already 8 o'clock. Asterbait. Asterbait is black. The Astermate. Guys, thanks for supporting the stream. We had a donation from Excel Poker, Cooking Rooks, 500 bits. We had a gift sub earlier for World Loser. Scarlet. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Every little bit helps. This is Asterbait. What is this? Rated Blitz game. Alright. So e4, c5, bishop c4. I was just telling him about this. It's funny, Asterbait had another game with the exact same boulder attack. And Asterbait is coming to this from having played it with white. So you got to understand, he literally used to play this with white. And I tried to tell him not to do it, and slowly he's given it up. He's trying to play different stuff now. But he's only playing fianchetto type Sicilians. So he doesn't feel comfortable. I tried to tell him he needs to play e6 to block this bishop on c4. Yeah, he's playing the Grand Prix instead. It's a step in the right direction, Schieberspieler. Honestly. I think like Grand Prix is probably a little better than the Bodler attack in the grand scheme of things. Not a big improvement, but a slight one. You got to play e6. Because bishop c4 is concretely bad because of e6. I think when you play g6, you're justifying bishop c4, unfortunately. But this is the second player. It's unbelievable. This is the second player this week he had this opening against. I think I'm not sure I've ever had anyone play queen f3, the fool's mate. Scholar mate. What's the difference between fool's mate and scholar's mate? Is it the same thing? The same thing, right? It's like a 3-year-old playing white. So we looked at this. A fool's mate is f3 g4, right? That's what Pop Geller did once against. That was funny, Schieberspieler. Have you heard me tell that story? Once in a first Saturday tournament, Pop Geller was having some kind of mental breakdown, and he like purposely like mated himself against Vargasoli in a fool's mate. And Varga was upset. He was like, you know, complaining to the organizer, like, what am I supposed to do if the guy wants to like mate himself, you know? But yeah, he was all like depressed because he lost a bunch of games, and so he just started to like lose on purpose as some sort of weird statement. I don't know. So that's the fool's mate, correct. Queen f3, e6. Yeah, Zoli plays in like the Slovakian league. Queen f3, e6, knight h3. So Astrobate's other game. Oh, I wanted to show you knight f6. This is interesting. e5, d5. That's playable for black too. Zoli's a good guy. e6, knight h3. Astrobate's other game was probably knight c3, knight c6, d3, or maybe, I don't remember. I don't remember what white did there. Maybe something stupid like a3, I think. He must have done like a3. Yeah, the Alyakin. Yeah, we had some conversations. We were on the same team for a couple of years. He's a good Alyakin player. Not many of them around. Queen f3, e6, knight h3, knight c6, and then knight g5. Man, this guy's got a one-track mind. Drop the piece. Shame. This is the shame game. And Astrobate he's getting stronger. Astrobate started playing in your Schieberspieler classical arenas. Schieberspieler, I think that's good for him. It seems like he's playing better since he started doing the classical arenas. It's like intensive amounts of games. I've noticed a distinct improvement in Astrobate's play since he started doing those massive amounts of games in the classical arena. Yeah, he was team leader, I know. But it's like, seriously, he's playing better. And now he just goes for an exchange of pieces. But this is a tricky move. Now what do we do? He wanted to play knight c4, but white found this trick on the diagonal. So I'm a little worried about this. Luckily, like, we have queen takes g2, so if d4, queen g2, and that's what happened. I don't know what white's supposed to do now. Black has that one threat. Maybe white should just castle. What do you do after castle? Send some message when are those so I can contribute. Oh, okay. So on Sundays, right? Or no, it's moved. It's Saturday. Schieberspieler on Saturdays, right? I guess castles. Yeah, he played d4 but queen g2. And now the rook is hanging. So white is lost. I mean, you can also play pawn takes pawn. And now he loses his queen. Okay, this was not a very tough game. But nevertheless, Asprey had low center pawn loss. But he actually played a lot of good games this week. Really massive improvement to Acer's game. Very few inaccuracies. This is... I would think you would go for the knight. But white wants to get mated. And then mate with the pawn, the lowest form of material. Alright, man. Yeah, Astrobate always plays this. So he's been playing the Accelerated Dragon for a while now. This is Excel Poker. Excel Poker's playing black. Caro Khan. Move 11, Founder and VIP. Founder VIP in the house. One of the only VIPs. Actually, we missed Bob. Bob hasn't been around since I came back. There are only 2 VIPs, right? Jeroen should be a VIP. I don't think he's a VIP. Move 11, Founder. Welcome, man. Scarlat said what? Almost having the Ponda Swiss tournament. Yeah, he's dangerous in those classical tournaments. He's like berserking every game. And he has a low rating, so people don't take him that seriously, and he sort of sneaks up on people. Okay, Caro Khan exchange variation. You know, every time that somebody plays that, I'm just hoping they play the Panov, but almost no one does. Because I played the Panov, but you know, like, there's a sinking feeling when you play this, it's going to be Bishop D3. And that's like, it's the same as playing against the London system. It's so gross. I mean, I know that it's good that you like equalize, but it's still, you're playing the white side of an exchange Queen's Gambit now. You saw a strange transition yesterday from Alekhine to Caro Khan exchange. Yeah. No. What are you talking about? Alekhine to Caro Khan exchange? How does that happen? I get a lot of people who do like E4, Knight F6, Knight C3 sort of stuff. The exchange sucks. Yeah, I hate it too. This is so insipid. And now, okay, what are you gonna do? You have to play Knight C6. C3, and now the question is, here's the big question. I mean, maybe it's worth playing G6, those lines with like Bishop F5 or something. I know Tom Bartel is an American player. He did maybe a chessable on these G6 Caro Khan lines, Spinal Tap. That's one line you can try. Obviously, the line you're playing is regarded as like a main line. I agree, like, fundamentally, G6 shouldn't be as good. Because ultimately, like, Bishop here just is a dead piece on the D4 pawn. But it's still very solid for black. I always play the classical line with Knight F6. But theoretically, Zell Poker is playing the main line. There's also, this started to be a thing. Is E5 legitimate? Is this a real thing? Takes, knight takes. I mean, it looks optically weird. Nabati. There's no game since 2017, so it doesn't look like this has been picking up much steam. Anyway, Queen C7. Shosh. And I am from Hungary played this against me. That's disgusting. H3. I think we had something like H3. No, that was Knight F6, H3. And then I did Queen C7. And that was the game. That was gross. I just offered a draw in like 8 moves. So anyway, queen c7, now h3. You're going to transpose to my game with Shosh Attila. Or no, what's his name? Shosh Arpad? I can't remember. Knight f6. It's like knight f6, knight f3. No, knight f6, knight e2, e5, de5, knight e5. Like that. Knight f6, h3, e5 is quite good. That's Schieberspieler, revealing his Caro-Kann secrets. Okay, so now you played g6. This raises an interesting question, though. You know, Excel Poker, you have to be a little bit careful. If you try to do like this bishop f5 type of thing, they might take it and have a sack with g4. So what I'm talking about is like, I don't know how your game went, but if you tried to play this, I would think like white has bishop takes f5 and g4 here. No one's played it, but dude, I don't know, man. Did I look at this once? I would think this could be kind of dangerous. And you want to like fight black for control of the center. There's no games. I feel like there was a Kamsky game in the list there somewhere. I'm not seeing it. It looks like something Gata would play. Take castle. So take castle. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on here. Black does look pretty safe, objectively. White's a little slow to develop. The Oracle. I mean, I think I looked at this just quickly with the computer. But anyways, all right. You know, just so you're aware, I think that idea of playing g4 is really important. Surprising that no one tried it at all. But you played bishop g7. Yeah, I mean, that's safer. Once he castles, you can play bishop f5. I would think now there's nothing wrong with bishop f5. Why? I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, I think, look, Tivyakov, Turov. Bishop f5 makes sense now because he doesn't have g4 with his king castled king side. It's still nothing special, but it's okay, right? It makes more sense to play it once white's committed to castle king side. Oh, you did play bishop f5. Yeah. Yeah, this makes total sense. I'm not sure he should exchange. Looks like some good players played bishop e2. You know, I mean, this is kind of weird. I admit, like, black has to be okay here. But the problem is, like, you have no breaks. You don't have the minority attack. Maybe you'll get it later. But you don't have e5 without that isolated pawn on d5. You're solid, but it's hard to, you know, make forward progress. Probably like knight f6 and you just play for a knight outpost on e4. White's going to regret that he's played h3, though. That makes this knight... I had a blitz game like this yesterday. He's going to regret that he's made that move, you know, because he's never going to get rid of your knight on e4. Alright, so take. Interesting move, bishop g5. It probably doesn't really do anything. I was expecting you to play knight f6. There's a game here. What do you figure he'll take? And it's boring, but black's very, very solid. I would prefer black slightly after bishop takes f6. I mean, he can't let you play knight e4. White played queen c1. That's weird. So his idea was to play bishop h6. Interesting. But you could castle queenside. Like knight e4, bishop h6. Oh, white played this. That wasn't his idea. So this is a new move, e6. Maybe he should play like the guy did with queen c1. Well, I mean, normally, like, your bishop on d6 would be a normal square. It's definitely better than on g7, where it's shut down by that pawn on d4. Yeah, I mean, now you've got a stranglehold. And he can't even play bishop g3. Did he miss a window to play? He missed a chance to play this? I mean, if f4, I don't know. Is f4 good? I'm not even sure if it's a good idea or not. I don't even know what white does. Like this, maybe? That's really weird. Do we really want to play f4? That seems like his better chance. But once you got that in, I think he's in trouble. And now white is like making this move rook e1. And like, what does that do? I think white is in trouble now. What is he going to do about this? And he can't play bishop g3. So maybe too late. This looks ugly. Rook e1 doesn't help. You just castled. Unbelievably, you guys have transposed to an actual game. This is unbelievable. Tabak? That sounds almost like a Hungarian name. Tabak Sándor. 2018. Is that a Hungarian player? Not necessarily. Yeah. White played knight g5. And black played queen f4. Look how weird this game got here. That is bizarre. But black's better. Totally. Yeah, now this is ugly. You're going to get the pawn diamond, the hardest substance known to man. Tabak Stefan. Okay. He's a Dutch Hungarian. No, I'm not sure Tabak is even Hungarian. It just sounds like it could be. Okay, f takes... It should be... It sounds like it should be Hungarian. F takes e4, knight h2, and then the beautiful f5. Look at that. Look at that. I had a game just like this yesterday. Very similar. It's a beautiful thing. Look at that pawn structure. Man. Yeah, this is the best. He tries f3. So if he takes, I mean, we're going to take back with the d pawn. His knight has nowhere to go. You know, you're all over him spatially. But the problem is, it's hard to break through. And again, like, you know, we're talking about that bishop on g7. If only you could play like queen g3 and like bishop d6 or something. Even then, it's hard to mate him. But you'd still like to get your bishop on d6. The g file is the money, right? This is where the game should be decided. It's like a Dutch stonewall that went bad, you know, where you can play like rook g1 with white. I've had it happen a lot in the Dutch stonewall. You need the g file, and you go for it. Well, I mean, f4 is like a sort of surrender. White doesn't want to play f4 in this position. Not really. I mean, he just played f3 to attack the center. And he's like, yeah. Masterclass on protected passed pawn. Nevertheless, it's still hard to break through, you know. It's the stonewall. This is like an 8-hour game. I hate it when I get positions like this against bullet guys who play super fast. Rook g8 looks good. Now maybe this. This is also tempting. But I wonder if ultimately, going back to that plan with bishop d6 was better. You've also got to keep your eye out for possible sacrifices like knight takes d4. Almost works. Yeah, I don't know about rook f8. Looks like, the thing is he can play g4 at some point. I would guess rook g6. And I guess if he does like g4, that's the question. Do we have this kind of thing? We have to take. I mean, probably it's alright, but you have to be careful. I mean, he still has this little chance of getting in on your king. So your idea was what? Queen h5. Oh, of course. To cover f6, so you have queen h5. I hadn't thought of it. So here, covering f6, and you're winning a piece. But if you play queen h5 right away, he has queen b7. Now you're threatening queen h5. This saves him indirectly. I wonder if he saw it. Now he's got g5. Well, he can't. His bishop's hanging. I mean, could he play g5 there? g5. Queen g3 check, rook g2. Queen e3 check. Okay. So he has to take here. And now you just take. And everything's protected. And yeah. It's just going to take a while to break through. Nobody else submit any more Stonewall games, please. These take forever. Rook g6, queen d6, knight c4, oof. There's a slight problem. That also covers e5. Yeah. Nice game. There's no counterplay. Again, we still have to break through, but it looks like bishop takes f4. Takes a while, but you're making progress. Nice. Alright, good game. How goes it? We're good. Alright guys, that was game number 5. We're up to Princess Chess, game number 6, thanks Excel Poker. This is Princess Chess versus Sea Breeze. You have to cut the seagrass with the shears. Alright. Minecraft meme. Take the shears and cut the seagrass. No, it was you have to attack the seagrass. Attack the seagrass with the shears. Alright, what are we doing? Princess Chess, welcome. Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze reminded me of seagrass. I started on my seagrass thing. The seagrass routine. Welcome everyone. Invite your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe and donate to support the stream. So d4, knight f6, ugh. Yeah, this is where, like, I know, I hate my opponent. I understand, like, again, I get it. Like when you play, even I've played like bishop f4 here, but what I don't get is like playing it against knight f6. You know, I just don't understand why people want to play this. You could just, you know, there's no d5 push. It doesn't make sense. This diagonal's not weak. So Princess Chess using one of my, not mine like I own it, but my two go-to moves are d6, the Weedmaster, and b6, the hyper-accelerated Queen's Indian London players are stupid move. These moves seem to mess white up. Like if you do anything like the standard stuff, they know what they're doing. Well, right. Okay, bishop f4, c5. Move 11, were you just mentioning this? But I mean, you're not going to surprise anyone with this move. You know. And the other problem is there's this Simon Williams Trumpowski style response, which I don't really like that much. This is a direct transposition to a kind of Trumpowski, right? Or maybe it's a good one, I don't know. But the other thing is like c3, obviously, c5, e3. This I tried in the beginning, but I think it's a little overrated. Yeah, I don't like it, man. If you memorize 20 moves, you can probably force a draw, but I don't think it's a good idea. Oh, I saw a really nice idea. What was it? Something recently. I'm trying to remember now. What the heck? I was looking at it from White's perspective. Something like this. I don't know what I'm thinking. Saw a game recently, but what the heck? It must have been a different move order. Weird. Alright, anyway, let's just focus on the game. I don't want to get too carried away. Yeah. Right. Well, we looked at that Kaidanov game, but Larry didn't know what he was doing. You know, Larry went into... See, Larry did what I'm talking about. Like, you're going into, like, the London system. Guys, you know, going into their, like, den of iniquity, and you're not knowing what you're doing. You know? These London players, they want to, like, go 20 moves deep into their stupid Eric Rosen variation or whatever. But if you play b6, they sit there with, like, their jaw open and they don't know what to do, you know? I mean... This is just nothing, you know, it's nothing special for White. Alright. B6 is good. You know, objectively, maybe White should transpose to the Queen's Indian. I don't know. Okay, E3, Bishop B7, Knight F3, and G6. And this is what I did. Probably White should try C4. No, objectively. Again, like transposing to some kind of double fianchetto. But how many London system players have the capacity to do that? You know, they don't know how to like transpose to a real opening. And anyway, like, is Bishop F4 really that big a deal? I mean, do you think like Bishop F4 is the refutation of the double fianchetto Queen's Indian? I doubt it. You know, like this is just a sort of okay variation. So I think this is, I think this is what I want to do with black too. G6, H3, not even necessary yet. Bishop G7, and now C4. So, you know, at least Seabreeze has some guts. Most people don't. You know, they just do their little robotic London system with like 92 or whatever. So this is a gutsy move by White. But now, we've got to think about options here. Is there anything tricky? We probably don't have D5. It looks like after D5, White's better. Take, and even the Schieberspieler like Bishop E5 or something. We can't do anything fancy. C5 is probably bad. because of d5. You're into like reversed ready. Though you never know. Like you might be able to do something like b5. Is this playable? It's actually playable. I had a game with Galyash in one of those Hungarian All-Stars tournaments that was something like this. I felt like it was like knight c3, c takes d, e takes d, and I was playing d5. And then there was some question about like checks on this diagonal. So basically like c takes d5, knight takes d5, check. But I guess it's not a big deal. But I think in his game he probably didn't waste time with h3 though. You know, it's probably like an improved version. In this case, I think h3 was a big time loss for white. He didn't really need to do that. So maybe this is interesting, Princess Chess. This is a novelty. Wow. c5 is actually a strong novelty. After c5, d5, but you have to play b5. Reversed ready. But it's not that easy to play. I mean, this is a dynamic approach. You'd have to be really up to the task there. You can't play, you know, half measures here. You got to really go for it. Otherwise, your queen's Indy and bishop is just dead meat. You know, as Asterbait will tell you. You got to bail it out and get it out before it gets buried. So that's one dynamic way to play. Bishop g7. This d6 is kind of early. I wouldn't rush with that. You know, you might want to play d5. So you should probably castle. I would imagine to be some position where maybe d5 is not a bad move. You could opt for a, see? Paschall Legrave, who's a big expert on the black side of these. You know, he's a Grunfeld player too. I mean, d5 is not a stupid idea at this point. If you play it like a Grunfeld, like take, you're trading pieces, and you're coming with c5. This seems reasonable. I would think, like, again, white would probably play bishop e5. Computer doesn't like it. Wow, black's better, thanks to h3. Alright. So, Princess, I think hold off on d6, you know? You don't need to play that. It's kind of passive. d6, knight c3, knight bd7, bishop e2, castle, and now, I mean, you have to look sometimes for gambits. Could you sack a pawn? I don't think it works. And unfortunately, like, queen e8 doesn't work because of knight b5. This was played by Riccardi. But I don't trust this with knight d5 in the position, or knight b5 in the position. You'll have to play a6. So how to play e5 here? See, it's not so easy. Princess Chess played rook e8, but that's kind of... Not sure if you can actually play e5, can you? Yeah, you'll play it anyway. Alright. This is also an interesting idea, though, Princess Chess. Knight e4, just trading pieces when you have less space. I think this is a solid choice. Godakansky versus Smirin. I'm not afraid to trade pieces here when I have less space. This is a very good move. Rook e8 is like more aggressive. Now we play d5. That looks sus. d5 looks wrong. But if white's allowed time to play knight d4, you're toast. But why can't you just play e5 here? Or e6 like you played? Yeah, d5's not right for white. But you gotta react now. Let's also look at this possibility. Unfortunately, it looks like e4. Is probably okay for white. So e6, e4. I don't like this bishop on b7 getting buried. It's buried anyway, though, after e5. But this bishop gets buried there, so maybe white should play like bishop 8, bishop g5. That seems better. There's actually a Nakamura game here. What did I see? No. There's one game with knight h5. That's odd. Don't really understand that. What's up with knight h5? What's this guy thinking? Can you imagine, like, white gave him this bishop on f4? Why would white here play knight to d4? Like, what kind of drugs are you on? Why not just play this? What is black doing with his knight on h5? Does anybody understand? Nice knight on h5. What is that going to do? Seriously. You want to take? Maybe that was his plan. I mean, seriously, maybe Excel Poker's right. Because you got to do something extreme here, justify knight h5. You're probably right. You know, he was gonna take and play it like a Gingy Indian or something with f5. Or yeah, it's got to be something extreme. So d5, but I mean, this has to be seriously considered. I guess it just doesn't threaten anything. Black isn't really threatening anything with e6, that's the problem. So I guess you have to go e5 and try this position. It's like a hippo. I mean, if necessary, you can always bring your bishop back to c8 if it doesn't work out. On the other hand, you might be able to just like wedge the pawn on e4. Look how many games there are here. Yeah, there is a Nakamura game. Wow. There's actually Nakamura Caruana from this exact position. That's crazy. h6. h6 is sensible. I would think e4 is playable. That's what Gildardo played. Rest in peace. Was a good guy. Queen e7. What did Hikaru play? It was Caruana with black, a5. Okay, so this is hippo style. a5, knight c5, bishop back to c8. You know, maybe you can resurrect. I would think knight d2 here for white, for Hikaru. Would be like a normal setup. What did he do? Hikaru played b3 first. Then queen c2. See? Recirculation. It's funny that Naka never played knight d2. Anyway. Alright. It's a hippo. So, I guess Princess Sheshi should play e5. Played e6, doesn't really do anything. See, the problem is we don't want to take here and have white take back with a c-pawn and then sit on the c6 square. We're not really threatening anything. See, that's the problem with your position. He's got this d5, and if this happens, you're in a lot of trouble. If white gets into c6. You basically exchanged away from the center. Thanks, Shieber Spieler. Take care, man. Now knight e4. But the problem is this. But she doesn't have, or he doesn't have this. Now you could do a5. But instead she focused on this pawn. Interesting. I guess white can hold it. I would think maybe a5 and you go knight c5. And you just create like a blockade style position. You can cover up that weakness on c6 by just blocking it physically with a knight on c5. What's up, Nils? Instead, this move though, the problem is white can defend. Maybe you sack the exchange here. Wow, that's also dropping a piece. Whoops. Alright, so this is a strong move. I guess white has to play bishop g5. I thought you sacked the exchange, but maybe it's not enough. We have two different exchange sacrifices you can make here. She did it. This move may be safer though. Black is better. You know, just better. But white can probably survive. But this is nice. So bishop d3, rook takes f4. You got to consider this too. Bishop takes, rook c1. I think that black has compensation here, but it's maybe not as good. At least in the other variation, you also mess up their structure. Rook takes f4. I don't think that you're better here. I think that black might have like barely enough compensation for the exchange. But I give credit to Princess Chess for being aggressive. I mean, she's not a passive player, but she's not normally one to like necessarily like make long-term sacrifices. I think when you progress to that point where you start to learn to make like long-term material sacrifices, that's knocking on the door of the master level. You know, this is the kind of thing you got to learn to do. So Nils, you're not in favor of the exchange sacrifice. Well, all right. Maybe we can be better without sacrificing anything. Maybe we're, you know, there's my friend Emil Salanci, who he sacrifices exchange like every game because he's like obsessed with it. But if we do an ordinary move here, like what's going to happen? White's going to play e4. This may not be a question of releasing tension. It may be a question of we're worse if we don't sack the exchange. As far as I'm concerned, this sucks, and we're structurally worse based on the backward pawn on c7. So I need to see some kind of evidence that black isn't worse here. Maybe he's not. Maybe white's a little overextended or something. I don't know. I mean, knight d7 or something. I don't like this type of stuff getting in there. This is kind of creepy. I don't think that it's that simple. So this is a nice sack, but black is not better. Obviously, knight takes d5 runs into this, which is most likely a very serious problem. Bishop takes also hits a2. But it's tricky. I mean, you know. Good move. Wow. There goes your pawn structure. Master. So this is just nuts. I mean, white's probably slightly better, but has to be careful. They played this. It's like suicide. It would be bad enough just having the pawn structure tripled, but to lose the h3 pawn, and now white is worse. We have to be careful though. I mean, is this going to be... Is giving up the c7 pawn a problem? No, here black doesn't have to rush. Like, for example, I mean, you might have knight f5, or knight h5, knight f4. So Princess Chess needs to slow down here and think about maybe grabbing that pawn, giving up the base of our pawn structure on c7 is dangerous. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, you took on h3, and white did not take this pawn on c7. I mean, I presume queen takes c7, queen takes f3. But again, it's not that simple. I mean, what if this? Queen takes f4, another pawn goes. And black's probably better. But it's not that easy to say. I'm curious about this position. I mean, maybe knight h5. White has bishop e4. Black is trying to square for the rook. But I mean, knight f4 is a massive threat. Maybe f5. F5 interferes with everything. But again, maybe we can rework it onto the dark squares. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I kind of like black here. I think black is better. 4-on-2 on the queen side, safe king, dark square problems. Probably white is like objectively losing in this position. -3. So after queen h3, can white take the pawn on c7? The engine says it's not good. Interesting. So the variation I gave here, check, or queen takes f4. And this protects d6. Black is also clearly better here. So it looks like both are good. Yeah, the black squares definitely win in that one variation for sure, with like queen d8. So similar stuff. Anyway, queen h3, queen c6. This is a logical move, right? Hitting the rook, guarding. Rook f8. Bishop f1, guarding. Queen h4. No. No, 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 no. No,
no, no, no, no, no, no.
We don't trade queens when we're attacking enemy king down the exchange. No way I'm trading queens here. Yes, he stopped your attack for the moment, but I mean, still we have queen h4 or queen f5, and we go for the f4 pawn. Yeah, I mean, black's gonna lose some pawns on the queen side, but let's see. Queen h4, queen c7, bishop h6, threatening bishop takes f4. We can't take on d6. Or, yeah. So let's say bishop g2. So he has a square. I don't know, man. This is very unclear. I still think that black has good chances. Though white might be able to defend. Computer's saying that white is clearly worse. This is a big, big, big mistake. After queen d7, now you're kind of like groveling for a draw. He's got those two rooks. Man, I would exchange queens so fast you wouldn't even like see the queen disappear from the board. There would be no way I'm even giving black a second chance to avoid the exchange of queens there. After queen d7, let's see. White's like almost winning. Queen d7. There's no way that like I'm not trading queens in the blink of an eye if I'm white here. Instantly. Yeah, it's very important. Opposite color bishops, and you're down the exchange. His rooks are really not that doing anything. Oh, your rook also. But this is a very important decision. Bad trade of queens. And now she actually avoids it. Wow. This guy has got to be like, I can't believe I didn't trade queens. He's got to be, oh my god, I could have traded queens and I didn't. That's a very dangerous thing to assume your opponent, you know. Just assume your opponent won't do it. Yeah, if I were him, I would be devastated now. Like, I can't believe I could have traded queens and I didn't. Because he just assumed she wanted to trade queens. And then she changed her mind. And now d5. Queen's on the board. Knight h5, bishop h6, a5. I wonder if we should worry about the a pawn. Probably not, because we're going to lose this anyway. Bishop h6 is also interesting, but that I guess we have to watch this actually. Are we in trouble with rook e5 here? I mean, I guess in this variation we have queen b1. We have to watch out for rook e5. That stops rook e5. But black played d4 now. Doctor, welcome back. The problem is if bishop h6, rook e5 harasses us. He could even sack the exchange back, like here, here. Oh no, we have bishop f4, but I don't like it. Queen f6, rook here. I mean, I don't know what's going on there, for example. That's kind of a weird position. Probably black's still better. Okay, black keeps the pass pawn. It's probably useful. Now we get f4. And now we've got perpetual check, at least, on the move. Probably more. Black's threatening bishop e5. So much for perpetual check. That sucks. This is going down the crapper. Alright. So, queen takes c7 defends f4. She plays d4. Now white plays this. That's so awkward. It's this rook, man. We're down a freaking rook. Oh, you have rook c8. Wait a minute now. Did you remember you have a rook? Is a rook important? How about that rook being in the game? It also frees up like bishop f8. I like white's rooks. They're like decorations. Awkward. Well, I don't know. Rook c8 looks pretty good, actually. With the threat of coming down here. Man. I'm starting to like this. You're back in the game with rook c8. So she has to be really accurate here. I guess this is a mistake. And now a5 is falling. Now there's problems. I guess yeah, she had to do this, but I'm afraid that black is lost after an h3 check. You have queen f3 now, though. What the heck? Why did he play that? Why didn't you just take? I mean, I guess this is not so easy, huh? White is up the exchange, but his king is shaky, and there's the passed pawn on d4. I was really concerned about these outsiders, you know. White's winning according to the computer, but I admit it's not so easy in a practical game. But I can't believe he played king h2, and now his rook is hanging. Are you kidding me? Like that works? Because of rookie... Wait. Bishop g2. He has bishop g2. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. But she has a move too. Wow. Bishop g2. Check this out. Queen d3. Staying on the rook and staying on the knight. That's funny. So black is still alive. Man, these pawns win. You can't trade queens. Unless you get your pawn through. Can your pawn go through? Check. Oh my god. No. Alright, knight g4 check. I hate that. Whose idea was it to design chess sites with the like audio playback buttons, like play, fast forward? I was just telling Astrobate about that. That's like the dumbest thing of all time. When did that start? You know, seriously, on like Chess Base or something? There's nothing more annoying than pressing that like fast forward button and having the board like go all the way to the end. Like seriously, does anyone else want to redesign chess sites so we can not have that? Because that is extremely freaking annoying. I am so tired of playing the press fast forward button on the goddamn tape player and wasting my life away. Seriously, there has to be a better way, you know, take away the fast forward button. Does anyone even use that? Who presses the fast forward button to the end of the game? There should be like forward 2 moves or something, not fast forward to the end of the game. Alright, anyways. I'm afraid these pawns are too strong. Do we have any tricks, though? I've been here, seen this before. It looks bad. Dude is cold-blooded. He went with rook a8 trading rooks. What is happening? I don't think this is enough. I mean, I have to say, like, White's technique was a little weird. Now it has to be winning. He's having trouble making progress. That is really strange. Oof. Alright, man. That was a tough game. Princess Chess. Classic. Nice exchange sacrifice. Nice try. You had good chances. Alright. I got a bunch of games left. We still have 4 games left. It's getting late. We're going to have to go a little faster. This is Maltim versus Goiju. Goiju is black. I mean, I just should use the arrow keys on the keyboard. The scroll button? Yeah, that's true. I never use the scroll. I should think about that. That's an easier way to get back. Alright, so Goiju playing a weird setup here. It's King's Indian, Old Indian move order, and then c6. What is this? I mean, I understand the Pribble. I think the Pribble has its independent value, you know, whatever. The check defense, like d4, d6, e4, knight f6, knight c3, c6. But I'm not sure I like this Old Indian having any kind of independent value. I'm absolutely offended by this move. I hate this move. I hate putting my queen on c7. It's like completely like shut in by all of the other stuff. I admit in the Old Indian it's part of the setup. People do it in the King's Indian when it's like much less appropriate. But objectively, I mean, you should play e5 or knight on bd7 or g6. But if you play g6, you don't want to play c6. I mean, this is an unusual move, but black has an inoffensive sort of setup, so anything's playable. We have no counterplay against d4. I mean, d5 is a normal move. I guess this is okay. Now I think you should consider playing g6, going into a King's Indian. Anyway, bishop e7, castle, and now this move, which I don't understand. Bishop g4 doesn't look right. Best case scenario, you're like giving white a tempo. It feels like, unless you have some sort of trick like this doesn't do anything. I mean, you just take back. There's no tricks here. You're just losing a tempo with bishop g4. And this has got to be bad. I would say, like, you should probably play bishop d7 or even bishop c8 objectively in this position. Maybe this was your plan, but this bishop is very much out of play now. So, big question for white to keep the tension or not. I think this bishop is very dubious. I mean, white could play g4, honestly. And I think white is all over you. I know some strong players who are like space advantage masters. They would not hesitate to play g4 here. Yeah, white has to be a little bit careful, but this knight coming to like f5 later, black is definitely worse. Black's in a bad way here, and this doesn't really help you. Any kind of like intermezzo with this doesn't really make a difference. I mean, the knight's still going to come to the center. If you try any tricks, he has bishop e3. I mean, it's possible there's some freak variation where you have a tactic, but I don't see it. Mr. Swift Tickle, thanks for having a cool name. No, thanks for subscribing. Subscribe for 4 months on a 2-month streak. So this is really bad by Goju. Stick his bishop on g4. This is your good bishop in a dark square pawn chain. You know, your central pawns are fixed. It's like the Roy Lopez or the Sicilian. You're fixing your pawns on your dark square structure, and this is your good bishop. It gets segregated out to h5 from the rest of the board, and it's going to have a difficult time participating. Now white played queen c2, a move I completely can't understand. This move is like, I don't get it. Like he's like trying to copy you or something. Queen c2 makes no sense. Knight on bd7, and then f4, and this is like, what? f4. The guy, I understand why he played queen c2, some sort of demented plan to play f4, but now your bishop, like, I'm like, yes, I can trade my bishop for something. This is like a miracle, you know? Just being able to like trade this off is like, oh my god, it's a miracle. My position's only clearly worse now, you know? I'm only clearly worse now after that. Like, knight takes, and then maybe you know, you're only clearly worse. I mean, he's trying to like crush you, right? The other possibility that's interesting is this. Because you have knight takes d4, queen b6, and on the diagonal. And how the heck does the guy protect his knight? He has to play bishop e3, but that walks into knight g4. So suddenly, things don't look so clear anymore. There is one problem. I guess he could just play this. No, that loses. So there's no move. Yeah, this is a problem. You take on d4. And that's what you did. And this is what happened. Yeah. But it's like a miracle the guy played f4. for no reason. Queen c2 and f4. E takes d4, knight takes d4, queen b6. So Goju is good. You know, he's getting good tactically, but the opening was a catastrophe. You're just lucky the guy played f4. This is good eye tactically, and now you're better. Maybe more than better. Because there's a possibility of bishop f6. What does he do now? And now a really interesting move by Goju, instead of taking and playing the obvious like bishop f6, which looks decent. I mean, you also have to consider grabbing this pawn on b2. Because his knight's just hanging, and he doesn't have a good move. I mean, I guess there could be some craziness. Be nice to get in bishop c5 somehow. The dark squares. But, are you guys following the European Championship? I wish I could play in the European Championship. Knight takes e3. I'm an American. I'm a migrant. Knight takes bishop f6, knight e2. No. Wait a minute here. Did you miss something? Now, I thought you were good tactically, but don't you have this? You have this. You have this and this. Good, you just missed it. He's just totally winning a piece. Man, it's amazing how white just collapsed here. Big mistake. Knight takes e3. Game, set, match. f4 was the worst move ever. And you win a piece. It does look plausible to play queen takes c5 too. Yeah, I don't really like allowing that. But I guess it doesn't matter. I would just take here. Listen, just simplify when you're up a piece. Give him that and just like castle queenside or something. You know, don't allow any complications. This is good though. Yeah. It should be winning. But f6, of course. Yeah, it's a little scary. That's why I kind of like that other line better. Given the choice. I think I like this better. I like the idea of castling queenside and getting the hell out of there. You know, where his pawn majority doesn't have a role. This is kind of weird, you know. He has some chances. Oddly enough. Because if you castle kingside, the f5, f6 is pretty upsetting. So I don't know what to play here. I mean, I know you're winning objectively, but f6 is really irritating. And you can't offer like a trade of queens or anything. And if you castle, he's got f6 immediately. So you have to be like super precise here. There's no safe place for your king. This is pretty scary, actually. What are you going to do after f6? You have to play some superhuman defense here. Bishop f8 on f6 or something. Look at this. He played d3, f6, rook d4. Pawn takes g7. Rook g8. Oh no. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised it went awry. I think the problem here is that, you're in time pressure, obviously. But if you want to go back to this position, your king safety became an issue. And here, honestly, on this move, this is game over. I mean, after this, castle's queenside, your king is safe. It all comes down to king safety. Sometimes we just win a piece and we're just like, whatever, it's all good, But I'm not surprised what happened. That's a kind of odd position after d takes c5, here, here, here. You just assumed, okay, easy win. Probably it is, like if you're careful, like g6, for example. You got to be careful. Obviously, castles. What did you play? Rook d8, so this is a blunder. Black has to be thoughtful about this move. I mean, even if maybe we have to sacrifice like the f7 pawn or something, we're probably still winning if we play it well. Not so easy, but maybe. So this just goes to show you got to be accurate. I know you were low on time, but what's the evaluation here? Totally winning. Dude, the computer says king d7. That's an easy move to find. For example, king d7 with 27 seconds left. Oh yeah, of course. Just walk out in the middle of the board. f6 wins. I didn't even consider that. Probably I would if it was a long game. It would dawn on me that I could play f6. And castles, which looks scary because of f6. But you're winning in the endgame. Computer, cold-blooded defense. It just gives back the piece. You're up 2 pawns in an ending. Anyway, I think that Goju just lost because of the time. He was down to 27 seconds. And then this is messy. Now we're lost. Yeah, alright. Guys, just a couple games left. Sean, Mickey. This is Sean's game with white, right? No, that was Mickey was white. I'm not sure what color Sean is. I think it was white. Yeah. Even with time, I tend to kamikaze fold. You were totally winning, but I think I agree with you. Finding those winning moves in the ending wasn't easy. I would have lost too. I mean, maybe I would have found the castle line, but I had a hard time finding king d7 or f6. To see the idea of sacrificing the piece back, though, that's pretty standard. Giving back material. I don't think that I would have found king d7 ever. And f6 looks ugly. But castles f6, giving up the piece, that's a line we should find. Rook fe8 is really nice because you're threatening bishop f8, just going back and defending. That's a line we can find. You kind of panicked. Anyway, alright, let's see. So it's Caro Khan. I don't know what color Sean is here. I kind of think he must have been black. It was a black win. I remember now. Yeah, he's black. Alright. Yeah, a lot of people play this, but I mean, everyone plays d4. It's like a reverse Rogozin. It's a stupid variation for white, though. I don't understand why so many people do this. You can transpose to a Jababa type of thing with like bishop f4. I see that all the time. Like a reverse Chigorin. But d3 is passive. So e5. Got to be careful with the center, though. Got to be careful on the open line so as to be solidly protected, but it's probably good. And this is interesting. d4 down a tempo. I honestly gotta give this guy credit. I mean, I hate d3. Objectively, this is not such a stupid move. I can't explain how much I hate the move d3. I'd rather play d3 and d4 than not play d4. I mean, this is actually... That's actually kind of a cool move by white. Realizing like he did something stupid and then trying to correct it. So now e4. But white should probably I guess bishop f4. Black is better with a space. Maybe f3. This is so stupid. You're playing a Nimzovich. White's playing a Nimzovich defense reversed here. Maybe he just likes the Nimzovich defense. But this looks like a bad square. Like, why put the bishop on e3 where it's like blocked by its own pawns? I mean, this is a much better square on f4. Alternatively, f3 to attack the center. Man, I mean, if white gets f takes e and, like, you know, imagine f5. That's like resigns. This is resigns. Knight takes e4. Takes queen h5 check. For example, you know, you could easily get ripped apart if you fart around with all those pawn moves. Again, reverse Nimzo defense. So bishop e3 is weird, but what should black do here objectively? I mean, you're playing a space. You're playing a space position. Maybe f5 is justified now because white didn't play f3. I would consider it. Other moves include like knight c6 here, and then f3. Maybe bishop b4, playing like a French, would be best. Or the solid bishop e7. I guess this is possible. Now white lost another tempo with bishop g5. Black should have a good game after that. The guy went back. Okay, I can't watch anymore. He just went back. It's ridiculous. Castles, queen d2. He lost 3 tempi. Rook e8. h3. And now e takes f3. Knight takes f3. Bishop d6. Castles queenside. He's 3 tempi down. And still it's not that bad, although bishop b4 looks really strong now. I don't see a good answer for this. Like, I guess bishop d3, but this is still extremely strong for black. You're positionally killing him. This feels like a cheapo, you know? Sean is playing for cheapos. Rook takes e3. But white has knight b5. What do you think, guys? A few more games to go over here. Knight b5 looks strong. White survives. This is a cheapo move. So I think you're better off with bishop e4. Very promising. Threatening knight e4. Maybe he can move his bishop again for the 6th time. Anyways, here and now you got the trap. Does it work? Well, now it definitely works. And then if this, you got this anyway, and there's no knight b5 because it's illegal. Yeah, it's just a cheapo. And white loses a piece. And I would consider maybe even sacking here. He's on d5. I mean, this is deadly, right? The deadliest. Super deadly. B takes c, bishop a3 check, king b1, queen b6, and mate. He has to go out, flushed into the center with king d2, and then knight e4 check. Yeah, I mean, he can play it out. But this is great. I'll take my chances there. He played this, giving back a pawn. And now you have queen c2 check. Very nice move. This is clean. Except for the fact that it doesn't work, it works. Yeah, queen takes c2, knight b4 check. I like this ending, nice and clean. But instead you play knight b4. Probably that'll get it done. Because on queen f5, g6. Even better. Let's just end it now. So he sacked his queen. Yeah. Nice. Now where's the fastest mate? Queen a5. What's the fastest mate here? I wonder. I'm tempted to play queen a5. Queen a5, a3. Then, like, rook takes a3. Pawn a3, queen a3. Pretty close to mate. Instead you played this. It does look pretty good. I guess he has, like, rook c1. And you just play rook c8. That's what happens. Yeah. And it's mate. Nice. Nice finish. Alright, next game. Trank versus Mickey. This was a simul. Mickey Dikit. Funny. It's Tranquilizer playing the Scandinavian. I was thinking about a similar line today. Okay, e4, d5 takes, queen d5. Knight f3. We have a number of people on the stream who played this. Move 11. I think someone on sound. You guys. Knight f3 has become very popular against the Scandinavian. Not that easy for black to play. They have to know what they're doing. Knight f6. Bishop e2. Now this is the main move though. I don't know what's up with bishop e2. Is that some kind of like secret variation or something? d4 is main line. This is a transposition to a normal line. But bishop e2 I'm not familiar with. I know there's these games with bishop g4 without knight f6, bishop e2 in. That seems kind of lame for black. He doesn't know if I'll go knight c3 or d4 or c4. Well, I mean, this is theory. After knight c6, you're going to go d4. And that's the game. So e5 is bad, right? It's like the elephant gambit or something. It looks like a reversed. Is this, how bad is this? You know, it's an interesting question. Does black, you know, can black play e5? We have to consider the possibility. There's one game with queen e6. You see, normally I would like to do like bishop e5 check, bishop a4, bishop b3. But you've already moved your bishop. So it's like an improved elephant gambit or something. White is probably better. But it's interesting, it's possible he could play that. This is literally playable. It's interesting, knight c3, queen a5 is best move according to the engine. You probably have to study this. I mean, this is literally a try. You know, it might be that like your move order is theoretically inaccurate. I mean, I need to know why you want to play bishop e2 over d4. I don't know if we should give him... I would try that with black. It's probably worth a try. Bishop e2, knight c6. Okay, so now it's like a normal position. I thought this was a normal position. According to the database, it's not, though. Weird. I guess this move order just never occurs. Weird. There's like no games. Bishop g4 is the best move, and now we transpose. Okay. h3 is possible. I think I decided on h3. being the best line for white, but there's some trick. Queen e6 check. Don't remember this. Now I must be thinking of a different position. I don't remember this. Bishop takes f3, bishop f3, queen e6 check, bishop e3, knight d5. Alright, anyway, you don't have to play h3. c4. So queen f5 is like main line. Bishop d2. Right. So he messed up. I also mess this up every time I've tried to play it with black, not knowing it well enough. Queen f5. Can you play d5 and like kill him here? So does he have some sort of piece sacrifice like castles? No. Knight b4 is impossible. This looks strong. It's not. This is not. There's one game where white played bishop c3, but that looks extremely strange. Bishop c3 just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. Funny. I guess you might have to do like that. So that's what I thought. You're actually transposing back to theory. Somehow, I don't fully understand. It's interesting, you castled, but I would have played this. So bishop f3, knight takes e4, bishop e7. But what about like bishop f3 castles or something crazy? Can he do this? It's really bad. Apparently this is bad. That's what the engine says. That it's very bad for black. So unprovoked exchanging is bad. He castled. And now you play bishop e3. And so this is book again. It was a very, very strange move order how you guys arrive at this position. Yeah, I don't know. It's still book. e5. e5, d5. I'm surprised how many games there are. A lot of games. This is still in theory. But Levente played e6. Which is playable. And now you made a new move. Which is logical. It's like an Albin counter gambit. You know, you're attacking b7. Very logical move. So black suddenly asks, like, what the heck is he supposed to do now? Without e5, he doesn't have a clear plan. You meant queen a4 instead of castles. Oh. It was strong in the final position. So this is like he didn't know what to do. I mean, I played this like once with black, also had no clue how to continue now. Bishop takes f3 is bad. Then you're like, okay, well, what if I do like h6 or something? But it's extremely slow. What is black supposed to play? Like bishop d6? There's no threat. This is hard. So he finally played like queen a5. I would think he wants to play queen b4. and shut you down. Queen a5 is a pretty good idea. This is weak, though. We have no way to attack that. Now he'll try to play queen b4, exactly. That was his trick. I mean, maybe you should prevent it. I guess he also has queen b6, but should you consider, like, a3 here? Stopping him? Then he plays queen b6, right? That's pretty annoying. d4 hangs? No, it's not hanging yet. I mean, he can't drop this. No, he still can't take that pawn. I mean, this here. I think his real plan would be to, like, trade queens. Try to force you to trade queens. You know, now it's hanging. Yeah, now it's a problem. Now you have a real problem. You have to, like, trade queens, and now you would have to trade queens and play rook d1. But you slightly weaken your structure. So maybe the way you played it is okay. But I don't like allowing him to trade queens. a6. You're only slightly better. I was hoping for, like, a kill, you know. I guess king f1 is worth considering. Because you'd be threatening knight g5. I guess he can just play h6, though, in that type of position. Here. He gives up his bishop. I'm not sure he should do that. I mean, this definitely should be considered. I know you can play g4, but I mean, is it really worth it? I think this is a mistake. He's giving up his bishop here, but why? What does he get for it? You know, after h3, I would definitely play bishop h5. I don't like getting my bishop shut down, but he's got g6 and it's back in the game. Bishop h5, I guess black's not that bad. But bishop takes f3, you're better. This doesn't look good. He's very passive now. Knight b4, 2 bishops, rook d2, yeah. Yeah, you're just better. He should probably maybe play c6 at this point. Try to hunker down. I guess he was afraid of knight a4. Bishop e7, rook d1, h6, g3, yeah, rook d7, king g2, d8, h4. Yeah, you don't want to be like black against the computer in this position. Now he played a5, h5, okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe you should have played differently, I don't know. He locks it up a little. But objectively, not that easy to break him. Very solid still for black. c6. And you're just a tiny bit better. Does black need to play a5 here before it's too late? He just doesn't want to do anything. And now he goes c5. This is a nice move. That's nice. And now you decided to play d5. What to do? You're actually, like, self-pinned. You're actually paralyzed, so you had to do d5. Take with the bishop. Took with the pawn. So you had to unpin yourself. This is such a weird position. Man. I guess you're not making progress here, though. Be careful. Famous last words. You get an H file. Wow. Just when I thought you weren't making progress, you have access with the H file. Oh man. Yeah. Bang. And now you're coming down here, all those squares. Yeah, he's just hanging on. Can you take? Bishop takes d3, rook takes d5. Are you serious? Wow. Unbelievable. That's a miracle. He's got that. Yeah, that's a fair result, I guess. What's the final evaluation? It's about equal. Yeah, I thought you were going to win. He's lucky he has 93 check. That was a pretty good game. Does this really work? Uh-oh. We missed something. Oh my god, you have rookie 2. But you can take. I think you guys both missed this. I missed it. You probably both missed it. He has rook d2. I mean, you have rook d2. Rook e2. Can't even talk. So he has to just take back here. And lose a pawn. This would have been tough. Alright guys, last game. Play like Kasparov playing black. Let's see how Kasparov-like he is. Interesting. Play like Kasparov playing the... Thanks, Mickey, for the game. CD3, rook e7, d2. Rook e7. Rook takes where? Rook e7? What? Wait, just before we go on, Excel Poker had a question. On 93 check, we all missed this. That you can take. Allow rook takes d5. You mean... What did you mean? CD3? Rook takes d5. Rook e2. You mean pawn takes pawn? Yeah. But I guess we just take, and then on d2 we have to play rook h1. He gets a rook, queen, whatever. Take it. Take this. Take this. b2 is weak. Pretty messy. Rook d2, rook f6, check, king b5, rook takes, rook takes. It'll be like rook sack the rook for his lone pawn, and then try to queen with r2. White might be winning this. This looks like, yeah, this is a classic. We'll sack the rook and win with our 2 connectors. Yeah, that's a good position. Alright, last game, e4, c5, knight f3, a6. So c4 and c3 are the annoying moves here. Your opponent played c3, and now, interesting decision. Play like Kasparov plays g6. Cool. I had never considered this. So, alright. We can transpose to a Zweigantsev. Move 11. We can transpose to one of your favorite A6 accelerated dragon lines. You know, another interesting option is, as much as I hate the Mora Gambit, I would imagine that this would be like kind of a reasonable Mora Gambit. I mean, there's obviously like queen takes d4 too. I don't know what that is exactly. Kind of weird position. But I guess for a Mora Gambit, this is reasonable. Black should play knight f6 according to Gormula. No relation to Danny Gormali, Danny Gormula. But Anyways, interesting idea, G6. Great show this week. Thanks, Asterbait. Thanks you guys for making it possible with your donations and subscriptions. Appreciate the follows even. Mr. Swift Tickle donated a subscription by resubscribing. He donated a subscription, whatever. CD4. This is the game, D5, right. So on takes, you see Karajitsa plays this. He's a Queen D6 Scandinavian guy. Do you think he's going to take on D5 with the Queen or play Knight F6? This would be a pretty weird Scandinavian. I think I'm going to pass on that. But A6 is useful in that it stops Bishop B5 check. Karajitsa. He plays that Queen D6 Scando. E5, classic move, and now Bishop G4. So we transpose to... This guy's got another game here. I feel like I looked at Queen B3, attacking B7. We looked at this, didn't we? The A6 Slav. Damn. Adamski is an old school Polish grandmaster, isn't he? He must be like 80. 2279. He's pretty modern with his opening here. I like Rook A7. So that's a critical question. What does the computer say? Knight BD2. So let's look at Queen B3. So Rook A7 is too fancy according to the engine. But there's no time for Bishop takes F3. That's the problem. Or is there? Yeah, let's check it out. Is this that clear? No, I think this is critical. Knight D7, sack a pawn. There's no Bishop E5. E6. A6 is hanging. That's funny. It's a funny way to lose a piece, though. Like, Bishop takes A6, Queen A5 check, and Queen takes A6. It looks like this is like really on the razor's edge of playability. Black is maybe in a practical game has a chance. Looks like it's significantly better for white, but most humans couldn't find that line. That's computer. Most people wouldn't play Queen B3. They would be afraid. But objectively, you know, maybe Bishop G4 is not our only move. Even F6. Gingy versus Michael Adams, something like that, but not as bad. I'm not sure if A6 is a bad move or a good move here. Does it weaken our position or stop Bishop E5? Alright, so E5, Bishop G4, H3. I think this is kind of weak. You know, H3 is like too automatic. Take. Now black has a good game. It's a classic, but this is a weird move. I mean, you should just play Knight C6. This is such a standard position. Knight C6, what does he do? Queen back? You know, then you can play Queen B6 maybe. But I don't understand playing Queen B6 like early. Maybe it's not bad though. It just feels much more natural to play Knight to C6. I don't know that this is bad. Because he can take. He should take it and go for it, like knight c6. He could do something crazy like e6, maybe. Unclear. There's a slight threat of mate in one. Be careful about that. I like this, though. This is my favorite variation. Oops. Oh, crap. You know? Like, queen takes d5 mate. Oh, I missed it. Right? That's great. Yeah, he didn't want to be brave and take the pawn. This is horrendous, though. I mean, queen here. I can't believe the guy's 2300 and he played queen c3. That move is illin'. I'll play anything but that. Like, literally anything. There's got to be another move, man. For Christ's sake, play like queen d1. Queen d1, knight c6, knight c3. Attacking this. And e6, and we have a problem, right? We're going to lose the pawn. I guess it's better to sacrifice the b2 pawn, but this is still pretty bad. He's screwed here. There's nothing he can do. I mean, it's all because he played h3 and didn't take on d5. It's too late now. But queen c3 is ugly. So here, now this is hanging. And you're going to have bishop e4. This is the only way you can think of, though, to actually protect the pawn. But ultimately, like, his pieces are on bad squares. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. e6 with a cheapo, but a constructive move anyway. Obviously, like, rook c8 also, you know, at some point is going to come. Now a3 stopping bishop e4. You know, maybe he could play like queen d2. It almost looks like he's okay here. This reverts back to a sort of Kuprechik like Karo Khan or something. The ability to block with knight c3, and suddenly white is maybe sort of okay. That might be more natural than weakening himself. By playing a3, he like weakens more squares, you know. This is more compact. So obviously here's no big deal because of knight c3. This is another pawn weakness. So that moves, yeah, that's protected. That's interesting. You got the rook protected by the knight, because I was automatically thinking of knight f5. But that's not a big deal. But rook c8 is nice. It's funny. You're just protected, threatening discoveries. Thanks, Excel Poker. Good game. Thanks for joining us. Alright. Last game for tonight, guys. Game analysis. Tomorrow we'll be back with some blitz. Rook c8, queen b3. So if you trade queens here, you know, the problem with a6 is that it weakens squares. It weakens b6, it weakens c5. I think I have to consider queen a7. That's a nice move, dude. I was just about to say queen a7. Because you stay on d4. You keep b7 protected. You don't put your queen on c7. So it can't get pinned by rook c1. This is a nice move coming back here. Definitely unusual, but kind of cool. Plus you're threatening knight f5. This is cool. And now you play bishop g7. I mean, we have to consider knight f5. I think this is good for you, you know. I mean, honestly, like, knight f5, whatever. Even if you can't take this pawn on d4, you just, like, take his bishop. I think this type of position looks very good for black. His center can be blown up by, like, f6 at some point. I guess maybe it might be equal, but I'd still rather be black. Yeah, the engine gives it 0.1 advantage to black. Alright, here. F6 is your key. Try. This is a bad idea because he can at least take out the knight on F5 with bishop D3. Alright, so F6 will weaken your E6 pawn. But I mean, we have to consider it. I also think like knight F5 is your most natural move. With the idea of F6. Let's say rook FD1, F6. Pawn takes pawn. Bishop takes F6. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Pieces on D4. Plus you can take his bishop when you want. And it's hard for him to attack E6. Like, how is he attacking E6 exactly? I don't understand, you know? So, that's the most natural way to play this. What you did out on the side with knight A5, I'm a little bit worried. Your knight sits on E7 unemployed, and you still haven't gotten in this F6 break. Yeah, this is a weird move by him. But he's going to go drop back there. Where is he going? It's actually like a blunder, isn't it? Queen b4 is a blunder. Knight e6. Yeah, this is dumb. And now there, and you gain another tempo with b5. So I think queen b4 is a mistake. I mean, could just go back right away. Wait a minute. Right away to d1. That's got to be better. He didn't help himself by giving you more moves. This only helps you. And now knight c4. And you made progress. So you take him out. And now there's possible sacks on e5. I don't think it works, but it's interesting. Knight e5. You could get 3 pawns for a piece. Did you think about this? It's only... No, it's 3 pawns for the piece. I think this is interesting. His structure is horrible. His bishop sucks. You know, this type of position looks like only black can win, realistically, here. Maybe I'm overestimating it. You know, maybe your winning chances are pretty much not that big. Yeah, I guess it's not that big a deal. Probably it's a draw. So you played f6 now. This looks kind of drawish too. But either side can lose on opposite colors. I feel like somehow you went wrong. Yeah, weird move. The computer wants to play b4 there. I wouldn't have even considered that. This is standard. Like exchange Slav. But I think it's equal now. You gotta watch your white squares. I guess a4 is a mistake by white. But now you lose the b5. So you have to... I thought he would play bishop b5 now. Forcing knight e7. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm playing g4. I told you about weakening your pawns. I mean, I'm already concerned that he's already got weaknesses on the dark squares that you don't have, you know. Your dark squares are protected by a dark square bishop. He has like dark square weaknesses with no dark square bishop. I mean, I don't know, you know. It seems sort of weird to play g4. He just wanted to stop knight f5. I understand. Can your knight go c8, d6, get in? I don't know. I feel like he's overextended slightly. But it's probably a draw now, objectively. This was risky to play e5 for you, but it worked out. I mean, that's funny. He should take it, maybe, right? I mean, he can't lose here. White has to be okay. He lets you get your bishop on c3. That's unbelievable. Look at that. Now I guess he should shift off the file. Maybe he's still holding on. But I mean, can he play this? No. Drops a pawn. Man, that's sad. So this is a problem. If only he could trade rooks, he would be alright. But it looks like you're better now. Your queen is a killer. His bishop does nothing. The mystery piece is your knight. If you get your knight in the game, you're winning. But how? How does your knight get in the game from this position? If only you could get it in the game. His knight is like sidelined. Where can you go? Here, here. Like, there's nowhere to go. There. Knight c6, knight e5, but your queen's on e5. So you played h5, and then he played e4. Whoa. I don't think e4 is a good idea. I think he's just like barely hanging on now. h5 is not a bad move. It's a good move. Nice try. But e4 looks suicidal. This is probably like bordering on losing the game now. Both sides have a passed pawn. But I mean, I asked about your knight. If this knight gets here and here, or if it gets like here, here, and here, and here, it's over now. That's like the collapse of the dark squares that started earlier. You know, I said about like h2, g3, f2. This is the final collapse of dark squares. He takes here, also a surprising move. So you have like check. You can do queen g5 check. I don't know if that benefits you. This is horrible. Look. Look at his pieces. He has no move? Oh my gosh. He has no move. His queen is pinned. I mean, taking on h5 is horrible. So you're actually threatening h4 though. I just realized. Man. So h4 is game over. Like on the next move. So he like literally had to take. He just doesn't have a move. But you miss queen f3 check? Or rook f3. Rook f3 is killing. Yeah, rook f3. Just rook f3. This is crushing. His whole army is like stuffed into this little box over here. Because of your bishop and your pawns on b4 and d4. It's sick. This is enough? It's enough. Yeah. Wins the queen. Nice game. Yeah, I mean, I think he's like still alive until e4. But maybe it's already too late. It's, where was it? I mean, it's already bad, right? Here. What if he played rook f2 and sacked a pawn? Still lost. You got rook f2. Wow. So somehow the computer is saying White has moves here. Oh, he has queen g1, defending e3. But I think that's the moral of the story. Like, this is clearly the moment where he lost, when he like played e4, but it's already too late, probably. After h5, he's screwed. Nice game. Alright guys, I'm going to be back tomorrow with some Blitz. Thanks for contributing to the stream with your games or analysis and gift subs. Record number of gift subs this week. But I love you guys. Next, we're going to be Friday. It's 11 a.m. CEST. Interesting games, though. It was fun analyzing tonight. And we'll see you in the morning. Don't forget, Simul on Sunday at 6:30 CEST. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll check you out tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.